Hi everyone, Ms. Stillman here. This is the homework 6 key. The first question asks, what is the length of the arc in terms of pi? Well, we don't know the arc, that's this amount. We do know the 60 degrees and the 10 for the radius, so we think to ourselves, okay, length of arc, that's an arc length question. So we should write down the formula that the central angle is central angle over 360 is equal to the arc length over the circle's circumference. That also means we need to find the circle's circumference. So I'm going to use this little space up here to carefully write that the circumference is equal to 2 pi r. Well, the radius r is 10. We should leave the pi in the answer, so just multiply 2 times 10 is 20 pi. And that way we know the whole circumference is 20 pi. The central angle is 60, so I'm about to plug the numbers into the proportion. 60 over 360 is equal to the arc length, which we don't know. We're looking for that, over the circle's circumference, which is 20 pi. We cross multiply 360 times x and get 360x, and 60 times 20 pi. Now that's very important that we leave that answer in terms of pi to help us, because sometimes the final answer is in terms of pi, like it is in this question. So we go to our calculator and we do 60 times pi. 60 times 20. Want to leave it in terms of pi, we get 1,200 pi. Now we need to get rid of the number next to the x, which is divide by 360. And again, our answer needs to be in terms of pi. So make sure you just divide the coefficient of 1,200 by 360, and we're going to press math, enter. Okay, so I'm going to come over here, take that number, and divide by 360. I did not type pi. I got a fraction, or really a decimal, and I want to turn it back into a fraction. Math, enter. 10 over 3. So our final answer is going to be x equals 10 over 3 pi. Okay, you could also write that as 10 pi over 3. So as long as pi is in the numerator or next to a fraction, you have the answer correct. Now number 2 is very similar. You have to find length. So again, the length is the x. And just like before, use the same formula over here. Central angle over 360 equals arc length over circumference. The circumference formula is c equals 2 pi r. The radius this time is 13. 2 times 13 is 26, so our circumference is 26 pi. The angle this time happens to be, the angle is 270. So it's a larger amount of the circle. 270 over 360 equals x over 26 pi. So cross multiply and get 360x equals 7,020 pi. Divide both sides by 360. This time though, we need it to the nearest tenth. So we could type all this onto the calculator. I'm going to do that right now. 7020 pi is second, the caret button pi, and that gets divided by 360. Gets 61.261. I'm going to write that over here. Round that to the nearest tenth, 61.3. Okay, I'm just going to separate that for you guys so you don't get confused. That's the next question. Okay, that was number 2. Number 3 asks us to find the central angle. The central angle is the theta in the question, right over there. And they tell us 6 inches over here. Well, that 6 inches is the arc length. And now we know it's an arc length question, so we should write down the formula central angle over 360 equals arc length over circumference. We should also find the circumference, 2 pi r, 2 pi times the 4, that's the radius. And that's 8 pi, because 2 times 4 is 8, keep the pi. Now we're going to plug the numbers into the formula. So you're going to notice central angle is theta. You could put that as an x if you'd like, but then you should really put an x over here if you're using x. The entire circle is 360. The arc length is 6, and the circumference is 8 pi. So now we're going to do theta times 8 pi and 360 times 6, which is 216 0. You're going to notice on the left side the theta has an 8 pi next to it, and we want to get rid of 8 pi. So one technique is dividing by 8 pi all at once. But I'm emphasizing you need to use parentheses. Let me just make a note. Sorry, I got to hold the paper. Use parentheses. I'm going to show it to you. Use parentheses. We want the calculator to know 2160 divided by all of the 8 pi. Not just 8 and not just pi, 8 pi together, that multiplication. 85.943. I'm going to write that down. 8 pi's canceled on the left. Theta is equal to 85.943. Nearest degree. So nearest whole number, that's 86 degrees. On the next page, we also have a circle question, but it is an area of the sector. Sorry, my paper got stuck. There we go. Area of the sector. So my formula is not circumference anymore, it's area. Find the area of the entire circle. Pi r squared, pi times the radius. The radius is 13. So take that 13 and square it. 13 squared is 169, if you want to see that over here. 13 squared, 169. In terms of pi, in the beginning we want to keep things in terms of pi. It will be easier for us to write our formula and do the cross multiplying. 169. Now we come over here. Notice it's still central angle over 360, but the right-hand side is all about areas. Sector area over the area of the circle. So the sector area is the part we don't know. That's the area of the piece we do not know. That's our x. We do know the circle's area is 169 pi. When we cross multiply 270 times 169 pi, you could multiply the pi in because we are doing nearest tenth, but I like to keep it consistent and keep the pi. So I'm going to do 270 times 169, 45630, 45630 pi. Now, when I divide both sides by 360, I'm going to do all this on my calculator at once. So I'm going to take that number and multiply it by pi, that 45630 number, multiply it by pi, but also divide by 360. 398.196 dot dot dot, round it to the nearest tenth, 398.2. The next question says area of the sector. So we know, again, area, not arc length. Area is a equals pi r squared, so I write that down, and I also can write down central angle over 360 equals sector area over area. Reading the question, underline keywords, area of a sector, radius of 8, formed by a central angle that measures 60 degrees. Well, central angles touch the center, so I would suggest drawing a little visual. Circle, draw the rays that touch the center of the circle. The radius is 8, the central angle is 60 degrees. I'm going to find the area, pi 8 squared is 64 pi. Plug that in right over here for the area of the circle. You get 60 for the central angle, right? 60, it says either in the picture you look at it or in the number in the question. 60 over 360 equals x over 64 pi. When you cross multiply, that's 60 times 64. I'm going to do it on my calculator to show you. You get 3840. Look at that 3840 pi. Now, at this point, you should think to yourself, am I going to divide by 360 with all the numbers? Should I keep the pi and not type the pi? What should I do? The question doesn't say anything. It doesn't say in terms of pi or round to nearest tenth. However, all the answer choices have pi in it. So here we go. Type 3840 without the pi, divide by 360. 3840, divide by 360. Okay, that's a decimal. We should do math enter to get it back into a fraction form. 32 over 3 pi. So 32 over 3 pi or 32 pi 3. 32 pi. Here we go. Answer choice 3. The last question is a reminder of lengths when you have tangents and secants. MN is 15. NP is 18. What is length of LP? Okay. Well, this is the question where we need to do tangent squared equals whole times outside. So originally the 15 and 18 were separate, but add them together to get the whole, which is 33. The tangent is x. X squared equals 33 times 18. You get x squared equals 594. Square both sides, you get 24.372, and round it to nearest tenth, which is that 0.37. So the 7 makes the 3 round up, 24.4.